All right. Welcome back to Waste Some Time with Jason Green. I am Jason Green. Anyway, it's been a long time, so I'm glad to see most of you. And we've got a lot to get to. Today's show is brought to you by Whatnot. Are you familiar with Whatnot? Whatnot is the best new auction site. I don't want to say it's that new because they've been around for over a year. I use it, and all my friends use it, and it's a great place to buy collectibles. They have live auctions. I believe eBay and all these other auction sites will eventually steal the format from them. And if you go into the description right now and you sign up, you will receive $15 free, just for me. How about that? $15 free. You can use it towards any purchase. And if you buy something there that's under 15 bucks, you got a free purchase. So seems like a good deal. So I want to make sure everybody goes to the description, supports the sponsors. This is a product that I use. In fact, I use it so much that this Saturday I will be live on Whatnot at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with Stephen Piercy doing a live auction from his house. So you will be able to purchase autographed memorabilia, pictures, shirts, and then all kinds of stuff from his old personal archives. A lot of stuff I haven't even seen yet. Excuse me, case of the whooping cough. So anyway, the link is in the description. Clear some time Saturday. Stop by and see me and Steven. He'll be answering your questions as well, and you'll get a chance to get something cool. And again, if you sign up with my code and you're new, you'll get 15 bucks off. So it's a good deal. Okay. We talked about that briefly, and we're going to talk about a lot more. We got a lot to get to a little later in the show. Johnny Monaco might stop by, and we'll talk about the craziness that's going on in his world and recap the Monsters on the Mountain concert festival that we just returned from. And then, of course, we'll talk a little bit about my health and some of the future plans for this show. All of that and more right after that. Just wanna waste some time with you. Sometimes it seems too good to be true. Nobody out there can waste time with you. Okay, so as you guys know, I've been off for a couple weeks, and the last video I posted was to talk about the results of the biopsy from my nose, and that came back as cancerous. And so I will tell you that I made that video within 10 minutes of getting the phone call. They don't have people with very good bedside manner. They just sort of say, you got this, and when you want to schedule surgery, like, I think they should have somebody like who's like super happy and friendly, and it makes a game out of it. Like, well, listen, one of us has cancer, and it's not me, that kind of thing. Anyway, but so I just kind of said what I was feeling and thinking at the time and made that video. And as I said, was sort of documenting this odd experience. And I was frustrated because for a year I had a primary care doctor who would not take it serious. And he didn't take anything serious. He didn't take my diabetes serious. He kind of thought I could just take some wonder pill and stop taking insulin. I'm a type 1 diabetic. And this spot that was on my nose, as you watch some of these older interviews, you'll see it's there. A lot of times I covered it with makeup, and a lot of times it bled. And it was sort of embarrassing and unsightly, if that's a word, while I was touring, to have this spot on my nose. And I knew something was wrong. Finally, I got a good primary who she recommended I go to a dermatologist. I'm sort of recapping, and I did a biopsy, which is why part of my nose is cut. Anyway, so I was like, well, I got to get in there right away and get this over with. But I have a lot of shows with Stephen Piercy scheduled. For those of you who don't know, I tour manage Stephen Piercy. And this kind of cancer I have, skin cancer on my nose, is it's a very lazy, non-aggressive cancer. like most people that I've worked with in my life or come in contact with. It takes a long time before it will grab onto bone or something really serious that you have to worry about. A lot of people have this and deal with it for a long time. One of the problems, though, with having skin cancer is that once you've had it, the chances that you have it again are a much higher rate. Hugh Jackman has had the same cancer surgery that I am going to have. He's had it 6 times. He could also afford a better plastic surgeon than me. So my fear was, well, what am I going to look like after this? Here I am on this channel doing interviews, and what am I going to do? With half a nose, look like Michael Jackson. Luckily, Halloween's coming, and I can wear a mask, right? So they said that I'm going to go anyway. So I'm postponing the surgery until I can finish the Stephen Piercy date. Surgery was originally September 7th. The last show I have right now is October 1st in Texas with Stryper. And so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go in and get a thing called Mohs surgery. And a lot of people have reached out. A lot of people have known someone who's had it, and they've been through this particular surgery. All I can think about is this. When I hear that I'm going in for Mohs surgery, I think of paging Dr. Fine, Dr. Howard, Dr. Fine, Dr. Fine, Dr. Howard, Dr. Howard, whatever it is. There's 2 Howards, 1 Fine. Anyway, so I'm hoping that it doesn't end up exactly like this. But the way this surgery works, for those of you who don't know, is that they inject your nose with a numbing agent, and it's very painful. That part is very painful. Then you don't feel anything except pressure, and then they will cut off a layer of skin from my nose. They freeze it. They put it under a microscope, and they come back an hour later, and then they decide if there's still abnormal cells, cancer. They will then cut again. With any luck, this skin cancer has not gotten so deep that maybe only need a cut or 2, right? Some people take 8 or 9. This could take all day. Every hour you get a cut. Every hour you get an injection. It does not sound like a fun day. But I do realize that there's so many people who have much worse health issues and things like that. And I know that this is a common cancer. This is an extremely beatable cancer, but it's still no fun. And then you have to wonder when you're on a budget, like most Americans, what is this surgery going to be like? What is it going to look like? And what's it going to cost me to fix it in the event that they do a bad job? I know they sometimes take skin from behind the ear and put that over the nose. I'm not ignoring your comments. We're going to get to them. We've got a little bit of time. And so I should say thank you to everybody who's called and everybody who's written messages, messenger pigeon, smoke in a bottle, smoke signals, ham radio, whatever it is that you did, I appreciate it. I did read everything. I thought I could respond, but it just a lot, because I am still trying to tour and do those things and then figure out what was going on. But a lot of nice people, a lot of nice musicians and people who've been on the show called me selflessly to talk about their conditions, and it makes you feel better, because like most people I know said, it doesn't matter what type of cancer you have. When you hear that word and somebody tells you you have it, it's a bit shocking. And then you go into the mode of, okay, well, at least I have something that people beat all the time, and yes, it's going to hurt and it's going to suck, but so does life. Anyway, so that's sort of what's going on with my health. I'll get to your comments in just a minute. If you didn't know by the title of this video, it is Jason Green Day. Well, What what is Jason Green Day? I know you're asking. Well, several years back, I believe in 2016, the mayor of Las Vegas, Carolyn Goodman, who some people say is completely crazy, has nothing to do with my award. Her craziness does not take away my honor in any way. Anyway, so I raised well over $1 million back then. Now we're probably closer to 2 million for various charities that I believed in. I had a friend, Amanda, who had cystic fibrosis, and she passed away from that terrible disease. And I wanted to get involved with trying to help not just find a cure, because this country normally isn't very good at finding cures. We're good at maintaining sicknesses, not curing them. There's no money in cures. But they do have some amazing drugs with cystic fibrosis, and people are living much, much longer. There was a time when that disease you didn't get out of your teens. And now people are living much longer, and it's amazing to see. And I know a lot of that is from money that was raised for some of the events that I was a part of. And I walked a marathon by myself for that charity and hosted several events, several concerts. And that's where it started. Then I started doing the Toys for Tots charity every year. I put on a big concert, have all my friends come out, and we'd get some gifts for kids that, maybe a little less fortunate. And it's a great cause and helps the economy as well, helps the stores that are selling these toys and other things. And so that was a great cause, and it grew and grew every year. Last year was a challenge to figure out how to do these events the last few years with COVID, but this year we'll be back to kicking ass with Toys for Tots. Then someone asked me if I was interested in joining something called the St. Baldrick's Foundation and hosting an event that raised money for childhood cancer, not for it, but to fight it, and to help people afford the treatments that they're getting. And so I did that, and I also shaved my head, which led to a very expensive haircut, raised a lot of money, and did that in front of a live audience. I ended up doing that, I think, 3 or 4 times. I've been knighted by the St. Baldrick's Foundation now, which is the highest honor you can receive from them. And if I sound like I'm bragging, listen, it's Jason Green Day. It should be my chance to tell you these things. But also, I want people to be aware of this. Also, when I do these charity events, you want people to know that the money goes to the place that it's supposed to go. And that's why I've always affiliated myself with strong charities. So after doing all of those events, listen, the mayor knows, right? The mayor decided that they needed to name a day after me. This is the certificate. Here it is, August 25th, Jason Green Day. And I will just read you from the office of the mayor by virtue of the authority given to me by the laws of the state of Nevada and by the charter of the city of Las Vegas. I, Carolyn G. Goodman, mayor of the city of Las Vegas, do hereby proclaim August 25th as Jason Green Day. And then a little bit explanation. In the city of Las Vegas, and ask all citizens to recognize this day. To recognize this gentleman. That's me. I think there's some typos and things in here, but listen, who cares? To recognize this gentleman for his unwavering and countless efforts to assist local charitable organizations in our community, most notably with groups that work with those with cystic fibrosis and childhood cancer, and for his contributions to the Las Vegas music scene. And so there it is, the seal, and and it's an honor, and an honor I don't take lightly. I always feel like it's funny. I've gotten a lot of awards for these type of things, but I found it funny to get awards for things that you're supposed to do. You should do good things. You should help other people. But these things make it easier for me to spread the word and do more of these type of things. And we will. And through the Whatnot auction and these other places that I'm working with, we will raise more money to help people less fortunate. When I was raising money for these for the kids with cancer, I thought to myself, I also did a lot for breast cancer. I thought to myself, if I should have cancer, I don't know how I would afford it. I sure hope that somebody would help me and donate it. and support the cause. And you know, it's odd how life works out. So that's Jason Green Day. And how it came about. And if you want to do something good today, donate to a charity, look into it, make sure it's a reputable one, or just do something nice for somebody. It's a good thing. So I'm trying to get all the positivity and good messages out before Johnny gets here, and then we can go back to being angry. Let me just take a look here. Well, first of all, I see a lot of super chats, and it is incredibly appreciated. So, Mark Sanchez, thank you for the welcome back. Much appreciated. And my good friend, the silverback orangutan, thank you very much. It's appreciated. I did not want to, go out and ask for GoFundMe and those type of things, but everything here does help. Love will build a bridge. Ask the Judds. Hashtag too soon. Pound on the wall and wake up, Monaco. Yes. Thank you. So anyway, these super chats are helping. I got a cat to feed in addition to surgery. So listen, so many of you people are just so nice that I want to share some of your messages. These are great. And I'm glad that you welcome me back. I almost forgot how to do one of these shows because it's been a while. Is this live? The question is, yes, it is. Answer is yes, it is. I saw you and Stephen in Sturgis. Great show. Sturgis was an interesting one, yes. Let's see. My skin cancer is basal cell carcinoma, to answer the question. And if you're going to get a cancer, that is a better one to get. Okay, Dr. Paul Shortino is here, which is very good. Doctor, I need some advice because these guys are right now scheduling my surgery. But Dr. Paul Shortino says, it's good to see the 20cc raccoon pheromone regimen. I have you on. Is you feeling better? And yeah, it's the doctor knows all. Let's see here. Just trying to get through all these things. I do want to make sure that you join me this Saturday with Stephen Piercy for a live auction. You don't have to buy anything. It doesn't cost anything to join. And in fact, I'm going to give you $15 for free. And that link is on the screen. If you're old-fashioned, go get your pen or your pencil or your feathered ink pen and write down this. It's very simple. whatnot.com/invite/Sin City Reject. No S on the end. Reject. That's the name of my band. Anyway, and then you'll get $15. Yes, Georgia is really obsessed with asking if this is live. Georgia, are you there? Very live, 100%. And thank you for watching. Okay, live in front of your steaming eyes. Let's see here. I wish they would take the skin from my ass. I have a big J-Lo, but I don't. From what I see, that doesn't seem where it's going. And yes, and wear sunscreen. I hate to be the one to say that, but make sure if you don't take it. I spent my whole life thinking, oh, nothing will ever happen to me. I won't get this. I won't get that. And my health is a whole list of craziness now. So use that sunscreen. Anyway, go to this. You have 7 days. Once you sign up, you have 7 days to use the $15. Saturday, Stephen Piercy and I will be on there. A lot of cool stuff. There'll be a lot of affordable stuff. It's not just old expensive stuff. We'll have brand new T-shirts, brand new photos signed, and $15 off. You'll do great. So okay, I wanted to mention that as well. And it says here, Metal Madness. Hope no all goes well. I think it's a typo, but I think it's saying I hope all goes well. Look at what Oz Fox has to go through, and he's doing great, it appears. And I spent a lot of time with Oz this weekend, And when Johnny joins us, we'll talk about uh, some of those stories. Let's get the boys out. Some of these things are so odd. Like I don't even know how to address some of this. You go away for a little while, you come back, and some people are still stupid. It's crazy how that works, right? The other kind of hold on. In case you guys don't know, hold on one second. Oh, look who the boys are back. Almost time for me to go to the doctor. The other surgeon I know is this Mose. I don't know if you know this Mose. If you watch The Office, Dwight Schrute's cousin Mose, I believe the surgery was created by him. And I want to point out that that some of the plans for the future of the show. So tour diaries. Everybody seems to love the tour diaries. Well, it's a new one. It premieres Monday. If you are a Patreon, to do that, you go into the description, join Patreon. You will be able to watch that tonight and watch it all weekend if you like. The next episode is from the Whiskey A Go-Go in Hollywood. It's a different tour diary than the other ones, but I hope you will like it. Got some surprises in it. And so, make sure you sign up for Patreon. Soon, YouTube memberships is coming for people who overseas who can't see the videos early. That's coming too. The plan is to put out the tour diaries. I have shot about 10 of them to put them out one a week. I have time to edit right now. And let's just say that the surgery is a mess and they cut my nose off. I have a lot of content that I can put out in the meantime. Another option, say I don't want to go on camera, would be do it sort of radio style, like a traditional podcast. You don't have to look at me. And then also guest hosts, which I've wanted to do anyway, guest hosts. I've wanted to have a few people come on and host a show. So I think that you're going to see that in the future as well. But surgery is not until October at the soonest. So for now, I'm okay with people seeing, if this is as bad as it's going to get, it's not so bad. There's a hole in my nose, but hey. So anyway, so you'll see tour diaries, other content, videos, locations, places I went. I've been kind of hoarding, stockpiling all of this content, and now it comes in handy so that you guys can watch it. I rescheduled all of my interviews. The week I went in for the biopsy, I had interviews scheduled. Brian Forsythe from Kicks was one, and anyway, those are all going to be rescheduled, and we'll put those up soon. So we'll keep the channel going. I'm so grateful that so many of you still watch this and want to keep it going. It's tough to have a YouTube channel right now. After the pandemic sort of it has quieted down, people are busy and have other things to do. And so I'm thankful that you guys still enjoy the content on this channel. I was at a festival this weekend. I should point out there are upcoming Stephen Pearcy dates and chances for you to see him and to see me. Listen, Stephen Pearcy is a legend, but what about me? Anyway, we're going to be on September 9th in Hinckley, Minneapolis, somewhere. We're going to be there. OfficialStephenPearcy.com. Take a look. And then the next day, we're going to be in Des Plaines. Where is the Illinois native when you need him? Des Plaines. Anyway, we're going to be there with Autograph and Quiet Riot. And then only a few more shows this year. Washington, going to be in Washington State, not the District of Columbia. Looking forward to that. And then I'm losing my mind. Dementia started setting in early. We're going to Las Vegas. If you're in Las Vegas, you got to come to that. And then after that, St. Louis, then Texas with Striper. Then I'm going to take some time off, as is the band, and everyone will be back in December at the Whiskey A Go Go. There's some stuff in the works. Steven has some stuff in the works. We'll talk about some of that live at Whatnot this Saturday, because he has a whole thing of his own, and it's not up to me to give away his stuff. Did I see Eddie Trunk? A good question. Within a few minutes of checking in at the Monsters on the Mountain Festival, we got our credentials, Johnny Monaco and I. This was on Friday, and we went for a walk, and I heard someone call my name. It was Eddie Trunk. I didn't recognize him. He had a baseball cap on, looked like he had a bit of a haircut. And I introduced him to Johnny. I think maybe they'd met in passing somewhere. And it was very nice. And, Eddie Trunk is a big star at these festivals and radio personality. And anyway, he takes pictures with people while he's talking. But somebody came over, a nice person who watches the show, and said, "Are you Jason Green?" And I said, "Yes." And he asked if he could take a picture with me, which is nice. It happens, periodically. And so I pointed out Eddie Trunk, and he didn't care. And he took his picture with me, and it was nice. And Eddie Trunk said, "It's a YouTube world out there," to which I pointed out that Eddie Trunk has the biggest ham radio show in the country. I don't understand why, it's not hipper. Anyway, I like Eddie, and he was only there for the first night because he was off to host Poison the next night. So I didn't really get to spend as much time with him as I would have liked. I don't know where Johnny is. He should be here by now. He should be here, so I don't have to do a talking about this alone, but I can do it. And, wait, hold on. I think we got an update from my doctor. Hold on one second. They just want me to see what the surgery looks like. Let's just take a look. Yeah. All right, well, it looks routine. Mose knows what he's doing, and at least Larry is looking on. So I'm not that worried. But they do like to send me these updates so that I'm prepared. But rest assured, those of you, thank you for the super chats, because without you guys, I don't know if I could afford the legal staff. Not legal staff, excuse me, the medical staff that I have. And there they are. There they look like they're showing that they hold the nose first. That's Dr. Fine. And then Dr. Howard, he's taking a sample from behind the ear. So for anyone who was worried about me, you can see I'm in good hands. Good hands. Okay. And everybody is saying, everyone's talking about The Odd Couple. Everybody wants to know about The Odd Couple. Everybody wants to know that they heard that Johnny spent time with Chip, and how was that? These are all interesting questions. And I think the only person who has those answers is Johnny Monaco. How are you, Johnny?
Hello.
Feel like I haven't seen you in like 24 hours.
I know. We're a team.
Mm-hmm. Well, but we're not the only team. You're making headlines with somebody else these days.
Well, I have to give you most of the credit on that one. I didn't know I was being filmed, so that was all you're doing.
Paparazzi.
And everyone is really excited about the soundtrack, which also your idea. I was just in there.
Thank you, Joe, for the support. You see, Johnny, people are helping me with my medical team.
See that?
Yeah, which is very nice of them. We're going to talk about Monsters on the Mountain. I talked about, I don't know if you were watching in the green room, but I talked about health. I talked about the auctions coming up. I talked about Jason Green Day, which is today.
Yeah. Congratulations. You got your own day.
Thank you. Yes, and I like to think that it's like Christmas. We celebrate it every year. So the mayor assured me that I can do that. Anyway, and it doesn't matter that she's a little crazy. So, okay, this is Monsters on the Mountain. We got that stuff out of the way. Let's talk about this event. Johnny, you and I flew, I believe, to Atlanta.
Hello there.
Because we are always in Atlanta. And for those of you who have never been to the Atlanta airport or are not there as often as we are, I would say 5 minutes, they make an announcement from the mayor, and he welcomes you to Atlanta, the ATL as he calls it, and his voice really stays in your ears. And then it's followed by an announcement about how they are trying to do a lot to help sex trafficking. I don't think they're supporting sex trafficking. I think they're against it.
I don't understand what was happening there, but I didn't know that it was sex trafficking was such an issue in airports. Now I know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, I've had sex and traffic before myself, but I didn't know that it was such a big deal.
It is.
Everybody does that. You know, roadhead or whatever the kids call it. You know what I'm saying?
I think the bigger issues is the food situation. That takes precedent over the sex trafficking, I would think. Plus, you got to buy an extra ticket if you're trafficking somebody. It's a lot of work trafficking.
Very, very good points. But yeah, the mayor, Andre Dickens, he welcomes us to the ATL. And it stays in your head. And then every airport you're in, you just keep waiting to hear Mayor Andre Dickens. That will be in the tour diary. Believe me, you'll hear it. And then from there, we went to Knoxville, Tennessee. And from Knoxville, we took about a 90-minute ride to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And it was you and me and Stephen Piercy and his lovely fiancee, Christy, Miss Truth Adair. And the rest of the guys were coming in later. So it was nothing like what I expected. This whole experience, this Monsters on the Mountain, was nothing what I expected. Johnny, was it what you expected?
No, I didn't really know. I thought it was going to be outside, like on a mountain, and it was going to be where you could see everything and be outside on like a big shed. But it was inside in I believe it was a convention center or a gymnasium, right?
Well, Nuno Betancourt said that he thought he was coming to play in the mountains, and he said that he thought that they should call this one Monsters on the Convention Center because yes, there are mountains, but inside you are in a big convention center. It does seem to work though. But Johnny, on that drive, you go through. I think you call that a forest, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, you drive through the mountains. We drove through the Smoky Mountains, which has bears, as we were told, and we were also told not to play with the bear cubs.
Right.
For some reason,
we were told not to talk to the bears, but especially not to talk to the bear cubs.
That's right, because the mother bear would be very upset if you talk to her child. That whole concept kind of carries into the shows because sometimes the parents bring their kids with, and they don't want you talking to them either.
Yeah. Did you, before the trip, were you thinking, if I see a bear cub, I'm going to talk to it?
Well, it would have been my second bear I would have saw for the evening. The first bear served me snacks on the plane. But yeah,
do you think that gentleman on the plane thought we were homosexual?
Well, yes, and because we were talking, and then we were talking about Vegas, and then you said, we went there for your birthday. And then I looked at you, and it reminded me, and I'm like, yeah. And then he asked you if you wanted something. Like, he doesn't eat that. He gets indigestion. So I think they think we're a couple, and they're looking at me, and they're like, he's the mean one. He's probably a power top, and the other one just lays there. But then, you're kind of chiming in. So I think they probably think we're a couple. Yeah.
Well, I think you said it best. That it seemed like that flight was going to Miami.
This plane's going to Miami. Well, and ironically, they were from Miami,
Mm-hmm.
and they were all men. Which
Yes, this was an all-male steward team.
I didn't have a problem. The problem I had was the fact that I thought they were all very well dressed, and they were groomed. They had a style to them, kind of like a 1920s, like a turn of the century. And I was okay with all of it. And that bothered me because I don't know what that is, but I like the way they dressed. I like that better than someone like, what? Yeah, what? Dropping stuff and skipping us, constantly forgetting to give us snacks.
The two previous flights that Johnny and I were on, we were skipped. I don't know how that happens 2 times in a row. We were wide awake. When we fly, what we like to do is Johnny likes a window and I like an aisle. Most of the time, we can get a flight and leave the middle open. Most people aren't going to buy a middle seat, and so most of the time we have the row. And we were wide awake, and somehow they skipped us, and we just kept saying, this can't be possible. How do you skip somebody on a service? And Johnny had to ring the light. We had to put both the lights actually, and then we informed them that we were skipped. In which case, they then give you one of every snack, which will make you sick. None of these snacks are very good. Delta, we like to fly Delta. As Carrot Top says, Delta stands for don't expect luggage to arrive. But we do like to fly there on there. And they have snacks. And the 4 snacks they serve are almonds. Johnny says don't have the almonds. They taste stale. They have a granola bar that I think is okay. It's got a little cherry flavor in it. Johnny doesn't like it. And then they have these sun chips. That's what we probably get the most, but we probably eat it so many times because they make 2 visits per day, and we're on 2 flights a day. So that's 4 bags of sun chips. And then the last snack, which I have a whole house full of, and I don't eat them, is Biscoff, I think it's called, cookies. And Johnny did eat all 4 snacks on the last time that we were skipped. But the gentlemen did not skip us. We sit in the emergency row. Thankfully, you're safe with Johnny and I, and on the other side, Stephen Piercy. You know that if anyone's going to get you out in an emergency, it's the voice of Rat with 2 artificial knees.
Yeah, it's a scene. Him sitting across from us, and then they have to ask you, we're going to need a verbal commitment from each one of you. So if you just go like this or like this, they wait, and you got to go yes. And just hearing him say yes to that, it's almost like when they do in the church when they give you the wafer, and then you have to amen. Yeah, he goes, yes. Yeah,
it's usually because he's nodded 3 or 4 times, and then finally he's tired. Yes.
Okay. And I have to go yes, and you go yes. Everyone's yes is like their own thing, and they're not even listening. They just want like some kind of like somehow that's gonna like when they go to court and everyone's burned asunder and there's arms everywhere. That little bit of information is gonna we asked you if you'd open the door, and it's like, well, if you would have paid attention during the speech when we told you how to work the door, maybe everyone would have got out. But it's a lot of work, and there's a lot of levers and cords involved. I don't know that I would have been, what's going to happen. You're going to be over there, and someone's going to run up to you like, get out of the way, I'll just do it. They're not going to let one of us work the door.
Yeah, and if it got to the point where we had opened the door, it'd probably be too late. It probably a good chance when the plane hits the mountain.
Yeah, you're going to open the door when you have to survive off the rest of the passengers in the top of the Smoky Mountains. Like you're going to choose which, if this goes down, I'm eating you first. That's what I do. I like to
size up.
So I like to get a good look at everyone who's going on, and see which ones are, big enough that would last, which ones might be like you're eating poison, and which ones I was just mad at from the beginning that I would probably start with the neck or the face.
Well, we profile. We look for terrorists as well. We're doing our civic duty. But as people come on the plane, there is the fear that they may sit next to us, and as they go by, we have to look at each person and see. You don't want a gigantic person who then spills into your seat and into their seat and needs the extra seatbelt. It's a sad thing, but you don't want them sitting next to you. You don't want the crying baby, and you probably don't want the dog. Although we've had the dog in front of us, the dog is better than the baby.
The dog was better than half the people on the plane, and it's getting worse.
You performed magic for the dog, card tricks.
I did. He was paying attention. He was a good audience. These people, it's getting worse. And this, if you can kind of like guesstimate, like what the rest of the population of the world's like, 98% of them, pygmies. It's just unbelievable. And they're so rude. They don't care about anything but themselves. And they let their kids run around screaming, screaming up and down the aisle. They just let it go. And everyone thinks that they're entitled to everything. They take up a lot of room. They're infringing on my area. One guy had his foot on my side and his elbows over. Who sits like that? That you have to physically to do that. Like, this is my area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. People are out of their mind. So
they are. They really are.
We took the ride. We learned about what to do with bears. We went to so it's strange that city of Gatlinburg is like this tourist attraction, and they have more things going on than Las Vegas or Hollywood ever has. They've got museums and rides and attractions and stores and all kinds of good food and you name it, they have it. And it was overwhelming. We're driving and he's pointing out this and that, and then we get to the hotel. It was a strange hotel, and you walk past like an indoor waterfall attraction. And I just kept thinking, if we're facing this waterfall attraction, we're screwed because it's going to be noisy at all hours. There's going to be rock star parties. But luckily, we were a little bit past that. And when we got there, you said to me, "Hey, look, there's the guy from Striper." And I said, "You're crazy." They were in the parking lot. It was Perry Richardson, the original bass player for Firehouse. Johnny was right. I don't know how Johnny recognized him. He had a bucket hat on, smart for the skin in the sun. He had he was sitting in a lawn chair, and he was smoking a pipe, and maybe reading. And he was out there for about an hour. You'll see it in my tour diary. I made sure to document it. And it was an interesting thing. He was really just living off the land. He was like Walden, out there. I heard, and I don't know if you heard, that a bear approached him.
Mm-hmm.
He did not acknowledge the bear. I mean, he acknowledged and slowly moved his seat back, and the bear kept going. I would be very frightened. I was told that at this hotel they have an electronic door that opens, that sometimes the bears learn how to open the door, and they will walk into the lobby of the hotel.
That's great.
And sometimes go in the swimming pool. And so the few days that we were there, every time we would be outside, I would think that there's no question there's a bear coming, that he's going to have words with us. Who knows? Johnny was thinking that maybe he should get a bear costume and walk around dressed as a bear.
Well, we did see them come out of the woods, and they started walking on the garbage dumpster. Very agile, those bears. I don't know that I could even do that. It walked around the perimeter of the dumpster. It didn't even slip off. It was very like from. In the Bears' defense, he was an Ingve fan, so that's probably why he didn't spend much time with the Striper. But he was down in the garbage, and then he was over by the picnic table, and everyone was very excited to see the bear. They were filming it, and you know, they didn't. I must have scared him off. But he's looking for food. He was looking for food and possibly a backstage pass, but only because Dangerous Toys opened.
Yeah, he was a fan as well. Bear was great. That was fun to see. I didn't believe we would actually see a bear. Anyway, so Stephen goes to his room, and Christy, they don't like to go out as much. But Johnny and I went over to the venue, which they said it was a half a mile away. They said you could walk downhill to it, but it's impossible to walk back uphill. You'll die. We did it 50 times. It was fine. Anyway, we walked down to the venue. We went to pick up our credentials, and we looked at the names of these stages. Some of the bands played on like the creek stage or the mountain stage. So we're like, well, how do we get out to the creek or the mountain? Because we're in a convention center. And then we learned that by the way, the Monsters on the Mountain event is put on by Larry Moran, who also puts on the Monsters of Rock cruises. It has a very similar vibe to the cruises. And Larry Moran managed Cinderella, and I believe Poison as well, and some other big shots. He's done a lot in the music video, and I think he's worked with Rat at some point also. Anyway, and he was very nice. Johnny and I got to say hello to him when we were picking up our credentials. So we will go into this gigantic room, like a convention center, but it's big. And what happens is they have two stages side by side, left and right. Quiet Riot was playing on the left stage, which was the creek stage. And then on the right is the mountain stage, which was empty. And so there's a whole section of empty seats. So Johnny and I said, well, why don't we go over to the other stage and we'll be in the front row for Yngwie? Because one of the few artists that you and I were both looking forward to seeing was Yngwie. So it's an interesting thing. So basically when one band ends, the people kind of hustle over to the other side. Right. We've seen Quiet Riot before. We've done shows with them before. So I've seen it. We watched it. It's enjoyable. If you like it, you'll still like it. I enjoy that they play the Typo Negative song, Black Number One, a little snippet in their set because the drummer Johnny Kelly was in Typo Negative. Anyway, we watched those guys. Didn't get to say hello to them this trip, but we see them every other week, it feels like. Anyway, we got and we used our credentials, and you and I were front row for Yngwie J. Malmsteen. And it was interesting.
Yeah.
Listen, it's Johnny, you know this. It's cool to bash Yngwie. It's cool to everybody there tries to talk down on Yngwie. But Yngwie really is one of the greatest guitar players of all time.
Oh, yeah, it's a big hero of mine, actually. But we had a hard enough time trying to find a stage. We kept asking the security, we want this stage. And he's like, I don't know how to explain this to you. I'm like, just point the direction we start walking. He goes, this is the stage. I'm like, well, no, this isn't he goes, no, it's next to it. Once we figured that out, we got over there, we sat in the front row, but then as they were ending, Quiet Riot was ending, the last 35 minutes, everybody moved over to, like you said, to the next stage, and we were ready. But then they started getting in front of us. So we had to pull a little bit of because we had our passes, and they just let us go in, and we got to stand right in front of Yngwie, like really close enough to where I could see everything. No underwear happening, a lot of kicking of picks, which then again jingle stuff around. But he's got a real raw tone. I kind of like that. It's like Jimi Hendrix with like more gain, and he goes up there and he just kind of dominates, and he's warming up as he's playing, so people can maybe critique him and say it's sloppy or this and that or it's overplaying. But I think he's using it as a way to warm up because the stuff he's actually playing is really cool. I don't know a lot of the newer material, but he did play some cool older ones. But he just has such a voice on the guitar that when he plays, it's him. And that right there wins, right? How many people can say they have a voice on the guitar like that, where it's just so signature of a sound? And he was ripping, right? I mean, towards the end and towards that solo section, and it's just, he had, I think, what was it, 25 Marshall heads, I think I counted,
Mhm.
and then the rest of the matching stack cabinets. And
He
the
played
band was,
mostly instrumental. He sang one or two maybe, and then he had a keyboard player who sang some of the more the hits, I would say. Rising Force, You Don't Remember, I'll Never Forget.
yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
which other ones, but there was a couple. But it was strange. So he would open with a song with vocals. He'd close with a song and then in between, every now and then, he would say, "Here's a new song," and then just some insane ripping. It didn't sound like necessarily they were songs, but maybe they were.
I mean, yeah, they're, like classical type pieces where it's all instrumental. The irony is Jeff Scott Soto was walking around.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the voice of a lot of those songs like that we like, you know. I'm a Viking.
I'll see the
As
light tonight.
Yeah, everything off that first album. Or sorry, no, was it the first album? Yeah. But it was. I mean, I enjoyed it. I've seen it before, but it was just a weird environment for the whole thing. I think that's what, when we say it was weird, it was that. It wasn't him. He's weird, but it was just the whole thing, just a vibe of it. But people seem to get it, right? There was a girl up against the stage dancing to arpeggios. It was bizarre.
Well, but she was kind of doing like a Cabbage Patch. It was a little,
Well,
like a
like
running.
this. He's like,
Yeah.
he's looking at me. I'm like this. I don't know what to do. So he's probably like looking at me like, and he's kicking picks out. He's got these like the beard or the chops, like when they signed the Declaration of Independence.
Mm-hmm.
And he was wearing his outfit. The other band, the rest of the band was over there. And then they stopped in the middle and he played national anthem, right? Star
Mm-hmm.
Spangled Banner. And they all did this.
Yeah. It was very patriotic and very moving, and it was weird. Listen. I'm glad we didn't, pay for it, but it was a fun experience. I was glad that we were right up front, and even a strange Yngwie concert is better than most other concerts. So after Yngwie, this is the Friday we're looking at here. I'm having a little trouble reading this, but let's see. Okay, here we go. So we missed Kip Winger, Shane.
Wow.
He was playing an acoustic show. We did run into Paul Taylor again. Paul Taylor is an original member of Winger. He wrote the song Miles Away. He was also in Alice Cooper's band. He was in Tom Kiefer's band. Great guy. And so we got to see him. He told us all about the Kip Winger set. We did not see any of these other bands, but we did watch some of Extreme. And it was, people are excited. Extreme doesn't play a lot, and we watched a bit of that. It was good, and you liked the Nuno Betancourt, didn't you?
There was a little bit of an incident with Nuno a couple years back at Farm Rock. We were standing out in front of the hotel, and he just got done playing. We all played there. I played there, and he asked how we liked the show. And I said I thought it was good. And then I said, you could have been a little louder, but I mean, and he goes, aha, you didn't like it. You're just saying that. And it got like weird. It was weird. And then he just like ascended up to his room.
Mm-hmm.
Just floated. And I said, did I say something? And they're like, nah, he's just, but the girls really like him. And he likes the girls. And I mean, his play's really good. I mean, I don't think the singer likes the girls, but he plays really good. And he was ripping, and he did have a cool vibe. He doesn't look different. He looks the same. It's amazing how he looks just as good as, whenever. And I don't know a lot of their songs other than the main ones, but they got that funky kind of rock thing going, and the stage looked cool. I mean, it played fine. I'm not a huge Extreme fan, but I know a lot of people are, and his guitar playing is really good.
We saw them we were watching from the side of the stage, Pat Badger's side. We were watching them bring out the acoustic guitars. We knew More Than Words was coming, and you and I ran for the nearest exit to find dinner. And we found a really great local little barbecue joint. called Bones Barbecue, and we had a nice time. We ate there. We walked around a bit, and I don't know. Did anything else exciting happen that night? I'm not sure. I don't think so.
We walked around, and then we had to decide between Bubba Shrimps.
Oh, right.
And we saw some people that recognized us. They were very excited that we were there. Took a photo.
Yeah. Well, it's a funny thing. We met a lot of nice people that watched this show, who've heard Johnny's music, and we spend time with these people. Most of these people are so important that they're hiding themselves away, but we hung out with everybody. We were the life of the party.
Yeah, we walked around and we had the barbecue, which was good. We weren't sure if it was open, but it was. I had the pulled pork.
They stayed open for us.
They might have done that. But yours was good, right? I liked what I had.
We tried every barbecue sauce known to man. They had 5. They had a white barbecue sauce. They had a vinegar-based barbecue sauce. And a regular one. Then they had a sweet one. Can't remember what the 5th one was. I'll have to write a letter and ask those guys. But anyway, then we went back to the hotel. We had ice cream sundaes, Johnny. You and I. We had 2 scoops each from where was it? Ben and Jerry's.
Baskin Robbins.
Baskin Robbins. That's right. And we had and that was good. And I had to shoot a lot of insulin because of that.
They were a little uppity with us. So evidently, we don't understand the ordering process of sundaes. I'm trying to explain to her I want the ice cream scooped into the container, and then this is the toppings I want. So you want a sundae? I'm like, well, I guess. And then we got this. She hands it to me, and it was like this big. It was a lot.
Yeah, they weren't fans of us city folk. Next day, sound check was at 10 a.m. And what they do is they check backwards. For those who don't know, whoever closes checks first. So Queensryche had already checked at like 8 in the morning, which is crazy. And then so next to us on the Creek stage was Stryper, and we did run into Oz Fox the night before. Now that I think about it, we ran into Oz in the lobby, and we had it was nice catching up with him. And I was trying to get some thoughts and prayers, just in case. And anyway, so they were sound checking on the stage next to us. It's strange to have 2 bands kind of checking simultaneously. I will tell you that we missed Simon Daniels. We missed Bad Marriage. We missed something called Nerd Halen. That was later in the night. Although we did meet the nerds in Nerd Halen. No, we met Pyromania. And then Eclipse, I don't know. We didn't see that. But and then something called Enough's Enough. We did not see that. Oh, hold on. Billy Caputo's here. Thank you, Billy. Much appreciated. Anyway, so after sound check, you guys went back to your respectful rooms, and I went out with. Stephen had to do a photo op, so him and I went back there at 2:00. He did a photo with a lot of the people that were there, and I took a photo with a lot of people that were there too, because everyone was very nice and enjoys the show, so that was great. And then after that, we came back to the hotel, and then Oz Fox invited us to lunch. But you and I had both ate already. We had giant slices of pizza, the biggest slices of pizza you will ever see. And we had that in like a child's amusement park or something.
It was an arcade with beer. So it was for children, but they also served beer to their disheveled parents. And then we got pizza, and then mine wasn't hot enough, so I returned it, and I got a fresh piece. Yes,
you were the one who complained.
Yours was melted and warm. Mine felt like it was sitting out, so they just gave me a new one.
Yeah, no, that's right. So we went back to the show, and as we were entering the building, the dressing rooms were upstairs. As we were entering, this band called Enough's Enough.
Ugh.
I'm not sure they really should be called Enough's Enough. Maybe Enough. But they were exiting the elevator as we were entering the elevator. I had my camera ready, but there was no exchange between you and Chips Enough, your former brother, at that time. I will be honest, and I don't mean this in a disparaging way. I don't know who's in Enough's Enough. I don't know these people. I've never heard of them. I know Donnie V. I know Derek Frigo. I know Vic Fox, and then begrudgingly, I know you. But these other people, I don't know them, and they look kind of like they want to be in LA Guns or something. I don't know, but it didn't look glam. It didn't make me want to get high on a new thing. But anyway, we went to the dressing rooms. We went to get the stage set. At that point, Dangerous Toys was playing. I did see Jason McMaster a few times. He has a podcast, and he's been on this one. He's a nice guy. I went to, I forgot to tell you, I went to celebrity painting class, rock and roll painting or whatever. And John Corabi was there, and Jason McMaster was there, and they were painting. It was odd. You'll see it in the tour diary. I filmed it. I documented it. It was very, very strange. They were painting Eddie Van Halen. Spoiler alert. And you'll see that in the video. Anyway, so Dangerous Toys finishes, and then Stephen Pearcy takes over on the Mountain stage. I will tell you, this is not because I work with Stephen, but there was the most amount of people watching him of any band that played that entire festival. That's just that is the truth. I went out in the crowd to try to take pictures. I had to walk 30 miles back. And I don't mean that it's disrespect to any other bands. There's a lot of great bands. But boy, people were excited to see Stephen. Rat has a great catalog. People love those songs. And it showed. You can see that it was a good night. And we got to hang out with a lot of interesting people. Big John was there. You know Big John. I don't think you got to see him, but Big John from Rock of Love, and he was Bret Michaels' security guard. Has some health issues. He has a box that makes his heart beat. I don't know what you call that, a pacemaker, but he keeps it in a pocket. He shows it in the tour diary. You'll see it. But anyway, Big John was there, nice guy. And Sullivan Big did not want to appear on video. He told us very, very private. But but he did. Well, he did say he enjoyed watching Johnny's tour videos. These are like 30 years old, so Sullivan's a little behind. He has a TV with rabbit ears. But he told me and everyone that everyone in the office used to love to see Johnny's videos about the bands that he was touring with, and sometimes how difficult some of those bands were. But anyway, we got to spend some time with him, and Pete Evick, who is Bret Michaels' guitar player. I did a little thing with him. He's got a candle company, and he talked about that, and we showed that. So there was a lot of mingling. And after the set, you and I and Jerry Montano, we hung out and watched the other bands. I went to the front row to see Stryper. I went as close up, and I said, "This is it. I'm going to get a Bible. I'm going to catch the Bible." And Oz kind of threw it in my direction, but it kind of like grazed, and like I didn't want to like knock someone over to get a Bible. I think that might be against it. So I'll have to keep trying. For those who don't know, Stryper throw Bibles into the crowd during their show. But they were very good. I was happy to see Oz. I wasn't the biggest Stryper fan in the world. I've become one since knowing those guys, and now I enjoy them. And Oz is great. And Michael Sweet is having some trouble with his eye. He's had surgery a few times, so sometimes he has a patch on. Like it looks like a pirate. It's kind of As Tracy Guns doesn't try that, or Phil Lewis, swashbucklers. Anyway, and Michael said he will be coming on the show very soon. So that is cool. I'd like to have one here. And so while I was watching Stryper, Johnny, by the way, you weren't feeling well.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on. I just felt like tightness, like I had like pain in my chest almost or something. Like I didn't know what was going on. I was looking on Google to see how far the hospital was because I didn't want to. If something happened, I did not want to die there. And there was no hospitals around. And there was no Apple store either. So both things could have been detrimental. And I just wasn't feeling right. I went back to the hotel, and you're like, "Come on, let's go." And then, then I ended up coming back. I changed, put on a different shirt. I figured, let's test it to see if anything really is wrong. If you, do some exercise, then so you can get it to do it. I know it sounds bad.
Well, you're better going in front of people or where they can maybe help than in your hotel room.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I didn't want to die there. With all the bears. So
I'm watching Striper. You weren't feeling so good. You came back with Jerry. You guys went back. I stayed with Steven for a while. He did a photo shoot with Mark Weiss. Mark Weiss is obviously one of the most legendary photographers of all time. And he had a little photo thing set up there. You should check Mark's work out. Check out his book. It's great. So Steven did a photo shoot. You guys came back. I'm front row watching Striper. And I look to my left, and what do I see?
Oh,
I see this, and I was puzzled, what am I looking at? What is this? Who are these people?
Oh God, I was sitting against the wall. And then watching Striper. And I seen Chip walking this way. And I didn't want to be, it's like, I don't have a problem with him or anything. So I waved him over. He came over. And we were talking. I was loud in there. But, he's one of those guys that, and I know a lot of people, when you've been with someone for a long time like that, whenever there could be years, but when you get together, it's like you've never left, right? So we were talking. It was fine for a little bit, and then it kind of got like, and I was only standing like this. Everyone's like, "Oh, your body language." I was watching the band. So what am I supposed to stand like this with my arms straight down? Or like this, or so I was standing like this because I was watching it, and I just happened to be in that pose. I wasn't. This isn't some kind of body language thing that means don't approach me. I wouldn't stand with my arms straight down, swinging my arms. So I just was sitting like this, and he started talking, and we weren't really present. And then he was looking around. So then that's when you were filming me. And then I didn't notice until I looked over. And then it's fine. I don't really know. We didn't talk about a whole lot. And then someone saw us standing there, and they're like, we got to get this photo. Someone took a picture.
It was a historic moment.
I don't know. The more I look at it, I need to lose 3 pounds. I think I have a little bit of like a badonkadonk.
Well, listen, Chip is a very trim guy, and so standing next to him, you probably felt a little insecure.
Yeah, well, it was bright, or the lights were going. We talked a little bit. I was listening and just kind of talking. So it wasn't really anything weird or anything, but then it kind of like broke down.
Maybe it wasn't to you.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling. I was feeling a little off, so I wasn't very animated. So I was just kind of sitting there, and he was talking a little bit, and then he walked, or I walked away, and we went our ways, and we saw each other backstage a little bit, and then we reconnected at the hotel where everybody was out in front hanging out.
Slow down, Johnny.
Okay. Oh, is there other stuff that happened?
So you guys had a nice little talk, but from what I saw, and I have lots more video, there's a clip that I put out with the Odd Couple theme that is fitting, and you can see it on Johnny's page now.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good.
And but I have a lot more. And I also had a conversation with the two of them together, and I told them how nice it was. And then I said what everybody says, where's Donnie V? That's who's missing. To which Chip said, "I'm going to go get some drugs," and he left. I think he was being funny. But I speak for the audience. I try to put it in his head. Anyway, at that point, we watched a little bit of Queensryche. I think Queensryche is boring. No offense. They have a great guy who works with them. His name is Bender, and he's been with them for 14 years. He used to date Nita Strauss. She's good. I don't know if that's a secret, but whatever. She's the sensation for. If I was banging Nita Strauss, I'd be sharing pictures. But she's in the Demi Lovato, that heavy metal band of Demi Lovato. Anyway, but it was nice catching up with him, and I think Queensryche are very talented, and that guy can sing. He's good, but I think it's tricky when you only have two members, the bass player and the guitar player. But they were very nice. They were only nice because I was with Steven. But anyway, but that's just not really my thing. It's just not my thing. So we left. We could not find food. I was starving. I needed food. And when we got to the hotel, every who's who was sitting outside, and there was an aroma of marijuana in the air. And then there was Chip, and also John Corabi, who is the mayor at these events. I don't know who proclaimed him that, but he is the mayor, and he likes to tell stories, long stories. And then there's Chip. He likes to tell stories. Mostly about himself. Long stories. I don't really know Chip, and he's welcome to come on the show. But I know Donnie, and I know what to expect from Donnie, which is don't expect much sometimes. That's a guy who's dealt with addiction, in every way possible. So, but I feel like for me, Donnie V is the guy who wrote those songs and is the voice of that band. I think you did a great job when Donnie left of keeping those songs going. You sing them incredibly well. So anyway, I didn't really know Chip, and this was my first experience. I've seen him around a million times. I said hello. That guy says hello to everybody, and everybody loves him for some reason. People just love this guy, Uncle Chippy, Cousin Chippy, 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 Chippy. I don't see it. I don't see it. He comes into the lobby. It was you and I. We ordered food. Chip recommended that we order food. He didn't think it was safe for us to walk. Anyway, then he saw that we got food, and he decided he wanted to get in on this food. He ordered 30 pounds of some kind of carbonara, I believe.
And a pizza.
Yeah. I don't know where he puts it, but anyway, but while we were waiting for his food, he decided to tell us how successful he is, how successful Enough is, how great he is. And then these fans came in, these lovely young women, and they kept telling him how much they were a fan of his song, My Michelle. And he never corrected them. I personally think Izzy Stradlin writes a good song, but I don't know why you would tell Chip about that. He would then, anyone who asks him anything, it becomes a storyteller event. He has to give you the history of this and the history of it. But it's always him. Another fan comes in and he has a record in a box, a vinyl box. He wanted to keep it in good condition. He wanted to get it autographed. As a lot of people do at these festivals. It's very cool. And he opens it up and I see it's called Enough's Enough 7. Is that right? That's the name.
Yeah.
And I said, 7 has got to be a record that Johnny's on. So Chip looks at it and talks about how great it is and how great he is again. And he's holding this record up with Johnny's picture on the back facing me and Johnny. I don't know the guy, but I figure at some point Chip's going to go, hey, little brother, Johnny Monaco's on. He did not. In fact, you would never know Johnny was in Enough's Enough. You would never know any of these things based on this. And I was going to say, why don't you have Johnny sign your record? But I was trying to stay out of it. but it was odd.
It's
And, so,
just,
and Chip would then brag about the world tour with Pretty Boy Floyd and things like that, and he's playing different continents and countries, and I felt like in some way he tried to diminish Johnny, who's playing bigger stages, traveling better, and making more money. I don't mean to toot your horn, but it was really odd. It seemed like Chip couldn't be happy for Johnny, which was odd. Now Johnny was very cordial and you're friendly with their drummer. He was a nice guy, but and then the rest of the guys we didn't see. But anyway, it was an interesting experience. Those videos are very popular. You're going to want to see this tour diary to see the reactions. Was the experience everything you expected?
I don't even know. I don't know how to answer that. I thought it was strange and weird. And towards the end, and it doesn't bother me. I mean, it's been years and years, and it's not like, but I felt this like saddening feeling. And I think I told you that. Like I actually felt saddened by it. Like, I don't know why. Like all of a sudden, like you felt like you were going to cry. Like I thought something was happening to me. Like
you might have heard. Did you hear his new music? Is that what it was?
I don't know. I just felt like, because when you spend all that time with a band or with people, and then time goes by, and then it comes full circle. So I was there, he was there. Randy Scott used to be the drummer in the band, and he's rode the TM for Stryper at the time.
Was.
So it's like, it's so fragmented that why wouldn't we still be a team and get together and hang out and talk and be.
Now, I didn't know this. Randy Scott was the drummer for Enough's Enough?
Yeah, for a long time.
I had no idea.
I mean, he came in after Ricky Parent, and he brought in his friend, the other guitar player. And they were in that lineup with me for a while. And then I left, Donnie came back, and it was still them. And then he left, I came back again. Then after I left, then it was Chip. But Randy left, prior to that. And then a new drummer came in, my friend Eric Donner came in. So, but it's just so weird that you're with somebody for all those years and, in this close-knit family kind of, so to speak. And then years later, you're almost like, not enemies, but, you got to kind of watch it. And it just, I don't know if it was that, but then you kind of reflect and you're like, well, if that didn't mean anything, what does this mean? And what's the next thing going to mean? And I think I said something to Steven about that. And he was like, you're always going to be a rat bastard now. Don't worry about it. And he was nice to say that. I wasn't like trying to, lean on him or ask him or anything or put him in a position, because he doesn't know me anything and nobody owes anybody anything. No one deserves anything. I just felt that it was strange after all that time. And that's kind of why I left in a way. I just felt no reason to stay. And I just stopped believing it. Like I stopped believing the person. I don't like quit bands. I quit people. And I just didn't feel like there was a purpose anymore. And I just didn't believe what he was selling me. And then maybe that whole thing makes you feel saddened, and it makes you feel that what's the point kind of thing. So, but yeah, I was in a weird mood. Like I wasn't very animated. I didn't talk a lot. I felt kind of like whimpery, and it wasn't because I was.
You were in a very strange mood. You also put in for your half of dinner, so
which is a rare incident.
I knew you weren't feeling well. Yeah.
Yeah. Just take my $20. Normally you got to pull it out of the hand.
And it was expensive to order. The guy, they have to fight bears, so you have to put a tip involved. Johnny, how would you rate Chip as a bass player?
Oh, he's a great bass player. And specifically for that style of music. It's hard to rate people on their instruments, because are you rating them against like others or other styles? Like if you see a guy like, Stu Hamm or someone like that, or Jeff Berlin play bass, is it technical like that? No. But
Not
He
only is he a great bass player, he would tell you that. He would be the first to tell you that. In fact, he told us how much better he made the choir boys. And what did he say that he did to make it better?
he gave him a little mini Chips Enough,
Hmm.
which I have a huge issue with people that talk about themselves in third person.
Hmm.
I'm not a fan of it. I understand if you're doing shtick and you're talking and you want to do this, throw it in there. But yeah, it was, and I. It's not just you noticing that and me just being timid enough and letting it go. Other people came up to me all night and were saying the same things. I don't get it. I mean, for someone who's supposedly humble and adored, it was I don't know, it was disturbing.
Yeah, well, it was. It was interesting, though. He was so proud to talk about this Choir Boys, which was a completely bogus band. There was no members of the Choir Boys in it. Now the original five members or whatever are back together. I guess they didn't need a little Chips Enough in there because the real band is back. Anyway, listen, I don't know the guy, but sometimes people talk at you, not with you. I try my best to listen to when people uh, talk.
Yeah,
Uh,
I didn't feel very present either. And it's strange because when you're that close to somebody, you think you would get you'd feel that, you know.
when
I
you
had
run into some, go ahead.
no, I had somebody reach out to me. I had my dentist friend and his friend who lived there in town come out to the show, and he said he ran into him and he asked him about me, and he said, "Do you remember what I told you?
Yeah, I remember. I wasn't
What
going to share it, but if you'd like to,
what did he say? I don't remember exactly."
I'm paraphrasing. He said the that after a while things kind of run its course with you being the band, and
I,
that go ahead.
I think he said, "I took that little midget around the world. He owes me tons, and in the end, I ended up being a better singer, and that's why we had to part ways."
Correct. That is what. Yeah.
I am not that short. First of all, second of all, yes, he did take me around, and as much as I appreciate it, I've also gave so many years of my life towards that band and played that music and learned that stuff the best I can to present it in its original form. So anybody who has a problem with me, critiquing or saying something about lineups, past or present, well, I should be able to say what I want because I put in my time to learn those parts. If you're just up there playing whatever and shitting all over the songs and not playing them right, I think I have, I could say what I want about it because I put in the effort and I think I got it pretty close. And it's kind of I think a lot of people feel that way. So, for me to get attitude or to be looked at as negative or saying something, or when I was just speaking my mind on fact, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinions. Well, I don't know what to really say about that. But for someone to say something like that, once you just saw him and were friendly, and then 2 seconds later turn around and say that, it's not. I'm not surprised by it, and I don't really, I kind of don't really know what to make of it, kind of thing. But you could just go on YouTube and watch. And everything stands the test of time. YouTube is the great equalizer.
Yeah, I thought it was strange. I mean, I think he has some jealousy issues, obviously. When you run it, which is strange, when you run into someone that you haven't seen in a long time, you sometimes start to tell stories and reminisce. This was not the case. You expect to. You remember that time we ran into that Thai hooker? It wasn't like that. There was no reminiscing about fun. There was no waxing nostalgic. It was all about how many great things Chip has going on. He did ask about your family and things like that. He tried to inquire a little bit, but
Well, that's why it's so vexing because there are parts of him that I sense that are still, like when a vampire's turning, how there's shades of they're still human,
mhm.
but then eventually they look up at you and their eyes are turned back and your heart and blood is coming out of their mouth. I don't know if it was that, but you know what I mean. There's shades of familiarity, but then there's this they gotta throw punches or stick up for themselves for some reason. I could have, rubbed it in and said all in. I could have bebopped around and scattered around and how, we're doing this and we're on this stage. But I didn't really find a reason to do it, or I wouldn't do it anyways. As far as I'm concerned,
Do you think maybe he's a little upset that you said he sounds like marbles in a garbage disposal?
Now, was that mine or was that Donnie V? It might have been me. Well,
Well, but you know what I mean? Maybe we've said some things on this show, and maybe he's a little upset.
Well, you put some marbles in the garbage disposal and then listen, and you tell me. I may have said something about an old shed door opening and closing in the rain, but again, we're similar.
Did you egg his house?
Yeah, there's a rumor going on about that, about how
Right, it's not proven.
I mean, I was told that, but Donnie V said something, and I don't know that it's actually his house, or I don't know. I don't really know what to say about that. I mean,
well, yeah. Well, I'm just saying that he may have some issues with you, but rather than deal with them, he tries to. I don't know.
Well, you think it's that? I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I
don't know.
Did he react to your video? Did anything? Have you heard anything since?
I had not heard from Chip for years and years. And then when I got the opportunity to do this with Steven, I was immediately texted with a congratulations. Again, I don't know what that means. It doesn't seem sincere. But
well, that was also because it happened to be your first day was at the M3 festival, and he was also going to be there. And he probably thought he might run into you, so maybe it's best to just be cordial. I thought that was a nice thing to do.
Yeah, but you would think, but I don't think it was that. I think there's other elements and other angles. But again, I don't dislike them like that. I just don't think it sounds the way it should. And I could say that,
Yeah.
And if that's a diss, or if I'm making fun of someone because they're taking pictures of the crowds that's there for the other bands, or they're checking in at airports, or they're acting like, rock stars. I mean, it's kind of like pointing out the obvious at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, if someone's going to call you negative and, you're a horrible, you're a bad person, you're not kind or whatever. From that, I think you're kind of projecting and maybe not looking inward as to why that person's saying those things.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you have a good point there. But we'll never know. I mean, good chance we will see these people again.
Yeah, right. Can only get weirder. And like I was a member of that band, I was a hired person who didn't write the songs and came in and tried to play them as with much articulation as I could and try to get them out. Do for this other person who is the main guy. I'm doing that once again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not. So I would prefer to be doing my own stuff and out there. And this is my statement. So I have to look at it in his shoes. He's still doing his thing that he believes in, and they're his songs, and that's the greatest thing. But the fact that I was, working for him, so to speak, and now I'm working for somebody else, that's the job I chose to take. It's not that I can't do other stuff or didn't want to do other things, but I chose to do that because I enjoyed the song so much. And
I would argue that he's playing Donnie V's songs, but okay.
At the time we were all together, but then when it fragmented and I started singing, even though I was the singer, I still felt like I didn't deserve to be singing the songs, even though they sounded as good as I can get them. But whatever is happening now, I mean, you can't change parts of Eleanor Rigby.
Mm-hmm.
He
improved upon it, I believe. But
you can't take liberties with those songs. And when you do that, it angers me a little.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. That's fair. Let's see here. I'm trying to get to some of the people's comments for watching because I appreciate everybody. There's 150 people watching live right now. Unfortunately, like I've been gone for 2 weeks, so a lot of people might have went off and done other things. They found other podcasts to watch. Billy wants to know if I will be playing bass with Steven anytime soon. Billy is a psychic. So, Billy, you should already know. The answer, trying to get to everybody, a lot of stuff. Johnny, we're going to be going to Minnesota soon for this Grand Hinkley Grand, whatever it's called, festival. A lot of fun bands are going to be at that. We're going to get to see Quiet Riot again. I think Dangerous Toys again, and also Leatherwolf, which is a band I like. A lot of people don't really know Leatherwolf. They were the Triple Axe Attack. They had 3 guitar players. Great record called Street Ready. Okay. Their bass player original bass player. He owns a backline company in Colorado. And while we were in Colorado, he provided the backline. I got to talk to him. He'll be on the show, and you'll see him on the future tour diaries. So just reminding everybody, if you're just tuning in, we're going to recap a little bit. 1, this episode is brought to you by Whatnot. Whatnot is the coolest live auction site around. You get to interact, you get to buy, you can watch. It's addictive, though. It's even just watching. Sit there watching all night. This is the link. It's in the discussion. It's also on the screen right now. It's in the description of this, too. You can find it real easy. Go over there, and just because of me, we're going to give you $15 on your first purchase. And if you get something for less than $15, you're set. Also, I will be live on Whatnot this Saturday with Stephen Piercy, the voice of Rad, at 4 p.m. You can find the link, sign up here, take the $15, use it on items. There's going to be all kinds of signed memorabilia and collectibles. And no, you don't have to buy anything. Come hang out, ask questions. We're going to have a good time. It's always fun spending the weekend with Stephen. Of course, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you very much, Jason. Definitely subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, where are you at? We need you to get on there. And anyway, so some people liked Leatherwolf, remembered it. Anyway, so they're on that bill. It's going to be fun. Then the next day, we're going to Des Plaines. Is that how you say it?
Des Plaines.
Des Plaines. Yeah.
Des Plaines. Yeah.
That's a hometown gig for you and Scott Coogan. You guys are going to have the town better watch out with you two.
Oh, lock up your daughters. Home of the first McDonald's.
That's amazing. The original one, the brothers, not Ray Kroc, or the Ray Kroc one?
I don't know, but there's a picture of Eddie Van Halen standing in front of a McDonald's in winter, and I think it's that one. Yeah,
I've seen it, and that's before Ronald McDonald. They had the Speedy character. It's interesting. Well, we'll have to stop by. I think we're going to be pretty far, but you're going to spend some extra time in the Illinois area. If any of your fans want to come visit you, you will be spending some time. So I have to get right back. Then after that, we're going to be at the Golden Nugget in Las Vegas. I suggest everybody come. That's a homecoming show for us. And then we're going to fly to St. Louis, Missouri. The old man, the old miss, the big arch, all those things. We're going to go there. And then one last show in October at the Norma Dome in Texas with Stryper, our good friend Stryper. And then I'm going to go in and get the Mohs surgery. The Larry and Curly surgery is not being practiced right now. So I'm going to get that. We'll see what the results are. I'm supposed to rest and try to heal and all those things. And the reason I'm waiting is because they were concerned that the stitches would not do well flying. They would come out. And that I would bleed to death all over a Delta plane. Just as you didn't want to die in wherever Gatlinburg, I don't want to die on a Delta plane over Texas. So anyway, that's coming up. I would love to broadcast my surgery live, but I don't think they allow that. But I would be more than happy to do it. Make sure you guys use a sunscreen. Johnny, you love those guys who give advice when they post, like drink more water. So mine is make sure that you use the sunscreen. Johnny, you should be using sunscreen. You're a pale guy.
I don't go out in the sun much. I was out yesterday, and one of my friends who I was told I'm putting on a few pounds. He's fat, but he's actually fat though, and told me I was getting a stomach. And then he said, "You also look very white. You should be in the sun." He had like 5 or 6 things to tell me on the way into the lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't go out in the sun much. I think we're both kind of white. I'm Sicilian, so I think I have a little bit of that in my skin, so I look a little darker, but not much. When I'm up against someone of normal, I look, I look white, and I don't go out much. But you're right. You always should wear sunscreen. I usually don't go out much, so I didn't think about it. But yeah, if you're out for any extended time, you certainly want to do that.
Yeah. People are saying they would like to see us. Johnny, they think you need some new friends. The guy in the guy's defense, though, he did say Johnny's fat, but he also paid for lunch. So I mean, there is that.
So when I stand, I should stand, differently, so it hides my pudge, which I'm starving right now from that. But it's only going to make me go to In-N-Out, which I kind of had a taste for today. For some reason, I normally don't.
You know who loves In-N-Out? Eddie Trunk. I went to In-N-Out with Eddie Trunk and Brent Woods, and Brent Woods also likes In-N-Out. And by the way, this is not talking out of school. Brent Woods had a battle with leukemia. I believe he still is dealing with it, but he's in great shape. And he was very kind to call me and talk about, and he wasn't the kind of guy who goes, "Listen, my cancer is much bigger than your cancer." He was the kind of guy to say anyone would be scared. And I won't give too much about our personal conversation, but anyway, a nice guy with some good advice and things like that. But he likes In-N-Out, and so does Eddie Trunk. And Eddie Trunk said to me that he does not understand Chick-fil-A. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. And he wasn't that thrilled with In-N-Out, but he thought In-N-Out was better than Chick-fil-A.
That's only because it's open on Sunday.
Right. Here's a good question. What's going on with Golden Robots competition? That's a great question. The judges have all done their part. Johnny Monaco, Tom Steele, Mark Knight, whoever I'm forgetting.
Peter Frampton.
Peter Frampton. They've all done their part. We'll do it soon. Now that I know when I'm doing the surgery, it helps, because I don't mind going on here with the biopsy scar, but let's see what this thing's going to look like. Maybe they'll cut off my nose and I still won't care, and I'll come on here and maybe I'll get a Groucho thing.
Won't say that. I think it's going to be okay. I think they're really going to just because even since they've done it, it almost looks like it's gone. So it's got to be really just on the surface.
Well, I will tell you that it does not bleed anymore.
Right.
And if you look at it, it looks like just a divot of skin missing. So, but who knows? Let's see. Enough about me. How's Dizzy Dean interview coming? Very good. In fact, I've been haven't been sleeping at night because I've been working on that interview. Let's see. Great outlook on life. People don't usually say that to me, but I like that. I'm supposed to go to. I mean, I don't know. This might be stupid, but Kyle says, "Does Johnny honestly like playing with Steven better compared to his solo gigs at Aces and Eights? I really can't tell."
Some of these people, I've been watching these comments, and for the most part, they're positive. Some of these people, the new me, being very letting her go. The place is called Aces and Ales. And as far as honestly, and I can't tell, I mean, maybe that's just how people talk. But I mean, they're two different things. It's not that I like one better or worse, or It's two different things. I mean, I'm doing that as over there a gig acoustically. I like the 70s tunes. It's one thing. When I play with Steven, I'm trying to do the best I can to do my part for the song, and I like the songs. I don't know. Is one better than the other? That they're different. I like doing both, and I also like other things. Driving a moped, going in and out.
Water sports.
So I don't really know how to answer that. And there's some other ones in here I just kind of let slide.
Georgia would love to see us in Colorado. Well, get a time machine. We were there a week ago. I'm sorry we missed you. I'd love to come back. I know people said that they would like to see us do this show live. Could happen.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Did you guys get to spend any time in Knoxville? Not really. I would have loved to. And Stephen and Christy were looking at a timeshare, I think. They really loved it.
They liked it there. We went through Pigeon Forge. We had a good time there.
Pigeon Forge, yeah. That's the home of Dollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dollywood. Let's see here. Trying to get everybody's commentary. Some of it is interesting. I appreciate all the super chats. That's very nice of everybody because it comes in handy. And we're off for a couple of weeks. So let's see. Johnny is a Renaissance man. Well, that's true. Anyway, I plan on skin cancer or no cancer. I plan on treating this like it's the end of the world. I'm celebrating. I'm getting all my affairs in order.
Oh God.
So yeah, you listen. You can't be too safe. I don't care what the treatable rate is. You've got to. I'm getting better seats on the plane now. Yeah, and yeah, it's a whole new world, Johnny Monaco.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there are people that constantly have to go on social media and they tell you stuff like that. They say you don't know when it's going to end, so do this and make sure you do that and tell this person that. Drink more water. But I think you're going to be fine, and I think that it's good that you're addressing it right now, and that you went in. The hard part's over. The next part is going to be a little,
Well, I mean, you make sense. So the hard part of finding out, because that waiting was a bitch, but the pain is no fun. Listen, I'm a diabetic. I got needles jammed in me every day.
Yeah.
As you see when we go to eat.
Yeah.
But I now just do it at the dinner table. Let's see.
I would think they would freeze it a little bit before they inject, so you don't just feel the stick go in. I think they do that. They numb it with a little.
No, they don't freeze it. They got this like a Novocaine type of stuff that just takes all the feeling out of your nose.
Okay, well, don't they then swab it before the needle goes? They're not going to jab a needle. They're probably going to numb it first.
No, the needle is the numb.
I think they put topical. I think ask them for some topical. I'm sure they do that.
I was going to ask him for some OxyContin. I mean,
No, you don't want that. You want to get a swab with some topical ointment. They put it on. It numbs the thing. Then they do the injection. That's how they do it at the dentist office when they stick it in their gums.
They do put a topical on, but you feel every bit of the needle. You feel it. They jam that needle in, and but then after like a couple minutes, they take the needle and then they poke you in the nose with it to say, "Do you feel it sharp? You should feel pressure, but you shouldn't feel it stabbing." And if that's the case, they break out the scalpel, and Dr. Mo comes in and they start cutting. So it'll be fine. Listen, let's hope I get it in one cut.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great.
Yeah,
that's
laws of
attraction, positive living. Thank you for watching, Jason. Diane, thank you. Happy Jason Green Day to you as well. We can all observe in our home states and practice. Cindy's concerned that Johnny might not be tall enough to ride the rides. Uh,
That's not a real name. And how about Shut Up, Cindy?
you don't think her name is Sunshine?
No, I don't. And I don't even think that's a real person.
You think it's a bot?
No, I think it's just some horrible person.
You think
I
it's
guess
just it's a hater?
it's someone making fun of me, thinking, me and Pierce here, I think the same height, aren't we?
I think so.
I'm sure
But
Nixon was my height.
he's had 2 of his knees removed, so he's gotten a little smaller over the years.
Right. Yeah, I don't go on roller coasters because I have a bit of a vertigo. Although that's been getting better the more we fly.
You have been doing much better, yeah.
Yeah. Although when I drove around with my friend in the car today, Ryan Johnson, sickest I've been, and even worse than going through a storm on an airplane. These people with the driving is unbelievable. They're tapping the brakes, hitting the gas, bouncing around back there, going over speed bumps with their big trucks. Like being in a washing machine.
I got to thank Michael Perez. Hold on, where's he at? Some food for Bitsy. Appreciate it. I don't know where Bitsy is right now. She's a world traveler, but she's around here somewhere. But anyway, yeah, it's good to have a companion, a feline companion, especially. I would say they don't talk back, but Bitsy talks a lot. But anyway, Michael, thank you so much. If she shows up, she'll make a cameo. Let's see here. Someone's concerned that I don't end up looking like Artie Lang. Artie Lang lost the majority of his nose, but that is also because of cocaine.
That's way different.
Yeah. Ronnie's happy to see us back. And let's see. I'm just trying to get everybody else's. A lot of people are infatuated with Diane. We're dressing her as a sexy woman and things like that. And here she is. Diane, why am I not as familiar with you as everyone else is? But do you know Diane?
I don't know. Who should I know who that is?
I don't know. She's the star of the chat.
I don't know. I think these people use fake names.
Yeah. Well, that could be, but I'm okay with it. How's Eric recovering? Well, listen, he doesn't have cancer like me, but I believe he's recovering just fine. He did leave his guitars in the hallway.
That has nothing to do with what happened, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, Eric's great, and we'll all be seeing each other, 4 or 5 more times before we all have to hit the unemployment line and
oh my, yeah,
beg for money on the interwebs.
Oh boy, that's not good.
Although Stephen has big plans for next year, and maybe he'll talk about those this Saturday on Whatnot. You can get it on an app. You can get it on your computer. You can get it on a plane, train, wherever you like. And I recommend you go take the 15 free bucks. It's free money. I've been a member for a long time. That is the link. Well, the reason that Trunk Nation would be on YouTube is because, as Johnny saw, and I told the story earlier, Eddie Trunk was very jealous that people recognize me from YouTube, and he says he has to break into it as well. Did they have Juan Crusade chili at the show? Is it on the rider? We returned to the scene of the crime, to that airport, and we asked Stephen if he remembered the Juan Crusade chili. It took about 4 or 5 reminders, and then I think he did, or he just wanted to shut us up. We couldn't find it. We Johnny and I are airport connoisseurs. As you see these videos coming out, Tour Diaries, brand new one, Hollywood comes out Monday. Patreons, watch it tonight. Anyway, here's a super sticker. Ronnie K, thank you so much for the super sticker. You guys don't know what that is? Find out. Much appreciated. Let's see. Eric was trying to think of something snarky and rude, but he couldn't think of it, so he's just saying hi. Nice to see you guys. That's good. Not everyone has to be snarky and rude. All right, let's see. Oh, here's Carla. Carla Green, no relation. Thank you for talking about what you're going through, Jason. I appreciate it. I have a biopsy on Tuesday. So thank you, Carla. Hopefully your biopsy comes back benign, and that's it. And you move on. And thinking about you, I'm going to give you some of my thoughts and prayers. Send them your way. Why not? Right? Why not? Anyway, hope that you will be you'll be all right. And yeah, I talk about it because when I do this thing, the whole idea was that we'll talk about what's going on, and it's hard to have a big thing on your face and not talk about it. So, let's see. How long have we been going? 1 hour and 51 minutes. So we're going to wrap this up at the 2-hour mark. If anyone has any questions, now is your chance. You can ask for me or for Johnny Monaco or for my cat Bitsy. And if you would like to super chat, by all means, go ahead. I think we covered the monsters on the mountain, though. I think we didn't see any of the bands last day.
Yeah, I think there was probably some stuff we missed, but for the most part, we went through it.
We went out late at night with Oz again to stock up on things for the room, and that was fun. I filmed all of this. It's all in the tour diaries, and there's going to be a lot more tour diaries. This can't pronounce the name, but Johnny, what has been the favorite pop jingle you've worked on?
Oh boy, I mean, there's been really a lot of them. I can't even remember them. I guess I did write one for Mickey Finn's, which is a bar in Libertyville, Illinois. And if you Google my name and Mickey Finn's, I believe it will come up on YouTube somewhere.
Mickey Finn's like a roofie, right? You wrote a jingle for roofies. Is that what it is?
I think that's a common name that they call pubs, and I thought it was just like, what a great name, and I didn't realize it was like a common thread, and there's a lot of those. But,
Singer from Jet Boy is named Mickey Finn.
That's right. You're right.
Jerry Montano is joining us. Montano Mayhem. What up, moths fuckers? Jerry is hipper than we. He speaks the lingo. Anyway, Jerry.
There's a moth. There's a moth in here.
Moth too. Yeah, Jerry and Johnny and I went out and we met the public. We all hung out and met the folks. Everyone was very nice. This event was very nice. It was similar to the cruises. A lot of people knew each other. People hung out. There was events in the day and night. And I would like to do one of these cruises. Steven is not a giant cruiser type, but maybe we can change that. There's always offers, I'll tell you that. I like a good cruise.
Yeah, I'll go to that.
Yeah, you would have fun. And Jerry Montano, if he's still watching, you would love a good cruise as well.
Ingve loves those. Last time he was on one, they ran out of lobster.
Yes, well, and for those of you who aren't familiar with Jerry plays bass with Steven, but he was also in Hell Yeah and Danzig. And let's see.
And Nothing Face.
Nothing Face, that's right. And Jerry says that Johnny rocked the house. As everybody did, it was a good set.
We had a good time. We walked around. When I wasn't feeling good, Jerry walked around with me and he kept checking on me. He's like, you doing all right? And I didn't really know what to answer him because I wasn't feeling good. It was just a weird night. I don't know what happened. I'm just glad nothing worse happened.
Yeah, I think that there's, altitudes or whatever they call those things. Air is different, and we travel so much through so many time zones, can't be healthy. And then on top of that, I don't want to out Johnny, but he's a sensitive guy, and I think that maybe some of that enough's enough stuff may annoyed you a little bit. My hunch. I don't know.
I don't know. I guess I was maybe subconsciously because I didn't like what he was wearing.
No, I'm with you on that. He didn't have later in the night. He had a new outfit on when he was chatting.
was like some kind of a tight, like a moo.
So glad to see you guys back. Missed watching the last few weeks. Glad you shared your diagnosis. It was a help. Will help a lot of people going through similar experiences. Well, that's a great thing. That is what, if something good comes out of something bad, is that other people see it and we go through it together. So, Johnny, you're great. Mabel, marbles in a garage disposal. Yeah, it is true. Johnny did say that, or Donnie said it. He's not sure. Johnny's not positive he said it, but
just reporting. Don't get all uppity.
Montano Jerry says that the singer seemed to follow Johnny around. I think he's talking about Chip, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
that's what he means. But
I don't know.
Jerry was with you when that incident began.
Yeah, Jerry was looking out for me, checked in on me, made sure I was doing okay. We hung out a little bit, and then we started hanging out. And you were talking to somebody at the table by the candles. Guitar player,
Pete
nice.
Evick.
He's a nice guy.
Nice guy. Yeah, he's been with Brett for 20 years.
Yeah,
and Brett's got a big tour next year. I don't want to say too much, but he's got a big tour coming up.
He was.
Apparently, Jerry played bass on a song called "Skin Carver," which is fitting. I'm going to play that when I go in for the surgery.
Jeez, Skin Carver.
Yeah,
that sounds terrible. That's cut your skin off, like in Pumpkinhead.
I guess.
Okay.
Here's a good question. I like this one. If I buy Johnny's music, does all the money go to him? This sounds like that asshole who asked you the other day if I was taking a cut of your money.
Yeah, somebody suggested that Jason is getting a percentage. Is it like with Elvis, right? Like they own you.
He said I'm like Colonel Tom Parker, and I was taking half of your money.
Well, the Colonel part might come into play a little, but not that I'm aware of.
Right, that's true. If listen, I did recommend Johnny and help him get the gig, which started as just one gig, by the way. He was going to fill in. It then turned out to more, and now he's still with us. But maybe I am. Maybe I'm getting a big cut of Johnny's money. Who knows? But that's what I was. Someone was asking, and that someone shall remain nameless.
I'm going to start calling the guy behind the pot roast station at the Cosmopolitan the Skin Carver.
Well, and Jerry's pointing out it's a dancing tune. Yeah.
Oh, well, I just know that anytime I hear carving, I immediately want to go to the buffet at the Cosmopolitan. Usually I just stock up on crab legs. I must have ate 100 the other day, but everyone wrecks it for me. Like, oh, that's what you get when you get the vaccine, or how do you like all that, lithium or whatever's in there, NyQuil, whatever they put in crab legs. But so they got to wreck it for you. Like, oh, that's disgusting. They're creatures. I thought it was good. Maybe I'll mix it up next time, but it's usually crabs, one slice of meat, and then immediately to the desserts.
Yeah, no. It's funny. I got a medication that I'm supposed to be taking for my skin, and this is not a political thing, but it also cures gonorrhea and chlamydia. So, I mean, just in case, right? Might as well take it. Jerry Montano did go to the after show. He was the only one to represent us there. Jeff Scott Soto was playing, and the bassist for Slash, his name is Todd Kearns. Me seeing Todd Kearns would be a lot like you seeing Chip. I managed Todd Kearns for a long time. We had a kind of fallout. I don't really give a fuck. I think he's a talented guy, but usually when we see each other, he's very phony, and he flips his hair, and that's usually what he does. And it's fine. I like that. I'd rather be fake nice with people, and I really don't have that big a problem with him. Jeff Scott Soto, as we know, we said earlier, sang for Yngwie Malmsteen. He was in Journey for a week as well. And then, Jerry was hoping for an Yngwie guest appearance, but it didn't happen. That would have been the highlight.
No, they immediately airlifted him out. He had to get to the Ferrari store. I saw a picture of Todd with the band. and it was all smiling, and they looked. And if you look close, and I'm usually staring at this part, his zipper was open.
Why?
I can't help but stare at whenever I look at a picture of Todd Kearns, I'm immediately drawn to his crotch.
Mhm.
And there might have been a couple buttons down, and I think I saw like some Canadian a thong, or perhaps it was a toy. I don't. Anyways, we saw him that one time in the Cosmopolitan,
Oh,
and
that's right. Yeah, we did not say hello. We did say hello to Miles Kennedy, though, instead.
you did. When I waved, I didn't get a wave back. I just got the look of disappointment. So I kind of just was like, oh. But then
It's kind of the look he makes when Slash lets him know he's going back to Guns N' Roses, I think. A little similar.
well, I don't know. I can't really can't read Canadians very well.
Well, they look so much like us. It's tricky. Steve, thank you so much, Kibbles, for Bitsy. And it is almost time for Bitsy to have her dinner, but thank you. Much appreciated. Let's see what we got here. Chris says that Todd Kearns' voice annoys him. I don't know if he means his spoken voice or his singing voice, but
It's like just across the board.
Well, I don't. Well, Chris will let us know.
We saw Alanis Morissette. She's from Canada, right?
He also. Oh shit! There goes my insulin alarm. Oh, hold on. He says that Todd Kearns' sense of entitlement annoys him.
Well, you know.
1 second. Turn off the old insulin alarm. My camera still on? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, we saw Alanis Morissette. And also Canadian, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And boy, did she have some fans there. There was 20,000 people, and they all gasped when the power went out and the tracks kept going, and nothing was coming out of this part, but we were hearing it. Again, can't trust Canadians.
After we played, you guys played, I just collected the money. And I collected a cut of yours too, apparently.
Evidently.
But after that, we went, you, me, and Jerry went to see Alanis Morissette. They had a golf cart waiting to speed us from the stage in the rain, which is a little bit ironic, don't you think? And we went to see.
I like that song.
And we went to see Alanis Morissette, who was lip syncing.
Like really like hardcore. And then someone was telling us that we can't stand where we were standing, and Jerry almost punched a hole through her head. She was 16, but still.
Yes. Well, Jerry made sure that all was right, and we stayed. And yeah, as Jerry points out, you don't want to believe that someone's lip syncing. I did film it. It is in the tour diary. You can see us at the show. You can see us reacting, and all of those things. Oh, Steve just bought a Johnny album.
Oh,
that's great.
Right.
You must have went to johnnymonaco.com. Is that where they go, Johnny?
You can get them there. You can also just download wherever people download things from, or you could reach out and email me and I could send you one. All those places. I only have a few left of the overrated ones. And once I sell all those, they're not coming back. So if you collect those kind of things, I think it's a good album. The other ones are all digital.
Johnny, I was thinking while we were traveling, we've been busy. I was thinking, how are things going? What is the progress on your record? She says she found her soulmate. What is going on with that?
I haven't had time to finish anything. And I'm very stressed out. And then this whole thing over the weekend that almost killed me in Gatlinburg. And then the crabs, the whole thing with the crabs so full. The airplane stuff, wanting to, push those people out of those little windows, having to be in control of an entire plane because I'm sitting in a designated area for the exits. It's a lot of pressure, and I'm also trying to lose 3 pounds. So, but yeah, I really am getting close now. I think I'm caught up with most things. I don't have a lot of gigs coming up. I'm playing tomorrow night actually at Aces and Ales on the East Side.
Well, if you're watching, go over to Aces and Eights and check out Johnny Monaco live.
Yeah, and I'm going to play there tomorrow, and that's the last one I have on the books for a while because I don't want to keep changing dates around in them because Kerry Kelly keeps sending me death threats.
He's very serious.
Yeah, because that's his place. So I have that tomorrow, and then I really don't have much going on until we go again. So I will have time to sit down and catch up to where I was and figure out what I got to finish.
Well, I won't keep bothering you with that question, but we will follow up because this is the chance. We are all sitting around. Some of us are getting our noses cut off. The rest of us can finish a solo record. Twisted Folk says, have you guys considered working on music together? The two of you with Bloss E on drums could be amazing. Regardless, love you guys. Sending positive vibes, Jason. Listen, I would love to make music with Johnny, and I think at some point we'll do something on this show because Johnny played me some of his music that I really like. The problem with Johnny is he's very, very, very serious. He's not cut from the musician cloth that I'm cut from, which is a very different punk rock. Now, I think Johnny appreciates different things, but Johnny will scold people. He's very, very serious, and so I'm a little alarmed by that. But I think who knows? And Bloss is great. Bloss to me is the best drummer around. I saw that he's going to play with that band of crackheads. It sounds like Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, I want to say they're called Kingdoms Come.
Kingdoms Come, yeah. Their drummer James Kotak, surprise, surprise, has problems.
That's weird. I never would have expected that from him.
He fucked up the Scorpions gig too. Anyway, so but Bloss is going to bail those guys out. I don't know why he doesn't play with Slaughter as much, but what are you going to do? But anyway, yeah, one day, Matt Mann wants to go on the record as saying not all Canadians are like Todd Kearns. Well,
I don't think so. And every time I've seen a female Canadian, they've been really good looking. Much like him, we were in the Cosmopolitan. I was joking, and we were walking past these three individuals standing tall and beautiful with boots and hair and bedazzling, and I said, "Look, it's Todd Kearns." That lady, and then you stopped, and you said, "So you know what? I think that is him." I'm like, "No, I'm kidding. Come on, let's go." And then it was, and karma, because 30 minutes later, I was changing a flat tire in the garage where it was 300 degrees.
Listen, we can't prove it, but Todd Kearns may have slashed your tire. Now, I know people at home are saying, "Well, how would Todd Kearns know what car Johnny's driving?" And that would be his license plate, Johnny Monaco.
I put it on the front of the car because I figure one day I'm gonna totally get a Corvette. But until then, the plates are cooler than the car. So
even if you were thinking that maybe there's another Johnny Monaco, the plates are also Illinois plates.
And I just got my sticker for another year, so I will at least be able to keep it for 1 year because I'm not driving the Hyundai back to Chicago for the smog test. I did it here. I passed. I didn't even study for it.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm making sure that I got everyone's comments. I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon here. Oh, Twisted Folk, hold on. Thank you so much for the contribution. Do either of you have a favorite album released in the past couple of years from any band whose heyday was in the 80s? Thanks for doing what you do. It's a good question. I can tell you, you're talking about someone who makes new music that was more known as a classic artist. I can tell you, Rick Springfield. You can't go wrong with anything Rick Springfield does.
It's good.
He still makes good music. He has a bluesy record now called Snake Something or whatever. That's not my favorite. But everything, he's got one called Shock, Denial, Anger, and Acceptance. He has one called Karma. He has one called Venus and Overdrive. These are all great, great records.
He is very good. He's still, all his songs are catchy. And as far as I know, he still knows how to put a woman in their place, especially in the airport.
He is 73 years of age, and his records are very good. if you like Stryper, if that's your thing, Stryper also makes good albums. As far as you have to be a fan of Stryper, it's not for everybody, but they're good production. Michael Sweet cranks those things out, as Oz says. He can write those songs. If you like that, I find those are good. Some bands don't do it. Some bands like Cinderella with Kiefer, he did not want it. He wanted to keep Cinderella as a nostalgia. I think Poison would like to stay as nostalgia as well. I can't always blame those bands. I wish Enough's Enough would have stayed nostalgia.
Yeah, someone just mentioned something about a gig at the Rock Pile in Toronto, and I do remember being there. We also played the Molson Center with Poison.
Oh, right. Okay.
And I remember playing it, and there was another one. I've been to Canada several times. One time they wouldn't let Mark Torian in, but something to do with a switchblade. I don't know, but we had to leave them, and then they didn't play. We came back and picked them up on the way back with some kind of peaches stand. But but it was really nice out there, and I liked going. And I've done a lot of shows. That's why it's disheartening with that whole thing, because I've spent so much time with that band and played so many places, and then you come full circle, and it's almost like it never happened at all.
Yeah, I get it. Jerry wants us to know that they shared a ride home with Dangerous Toys, and that they were funny guys and they had a good time. And Jerry's going to get himself a Dangerous Toys shirt and CD. Check it out, Jason McMaster. Jason McMaster was known for a prog band called Watchtower. Did you know that, Johnny?
Nope.
I didn't know much about it, but I had him on the show, and I know, and people really enjoyed it. And he has, like I said, he has his own thing going on as well. Let's see here. I guess someone's recommending Tracy Guns and Michael Sweet's record called Sun Bomb. I've got enough sun. Bomb sounds appropriate to how many units it may sell, but I shouldn't say that though, because Michael Sweet is going to be here. Tracy Guns is rocking the units hard. Have you seen that?
I have seen enough of that.
Yeah, I don't know why he did. Why does he do that? Why does he go on stage and cut his shirts so that he's a heavier set guy now?
I'm guessing warming up for a Fellini movie or tightrope walking.
Or do you think he just feels like, I'm not going to get upstaged by, the dastardly villain who ties the girl to the train tracks? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's a thing. Like, it's an English thing, right? Like the guy in the darkness and Freddie Mercury. It's that innuendo kind of, the Joker on the high wire. So it is a look. I mean, it's not for everybody.
Ready for the shows, those guys, and they say like, I look good. I know it.
I don't know what to say about any of that anymore. Anytime I say anything, it's like, you're negative. So I can't, that's what you want to wear. Like you said, you looked in the mirror and you said, I'm going to wear this tonight. Where's my bow?
Yeah. Chris wants to point out that those shirts help with the heat issues. Yeah. Right. Let's see here. Was there any discussion about Tommy Lee's recent photo? Not really. I don't even know if that's an interesting topic, is it?
No, not really.
It's a publicity stunt. Maybe the people are losing interest in that silly tour of those silly bands, and broke out his cock again.
Oh boy!
When all else fails,
whip it out.
Whip it out. Yeah. Let's see. I don't know what this means. Hey, lady. What is that? Is that like the Jerry Lewis? Hey, lady!
I think he's talking to somebody else, maybe.
Oh, okay. Well, please, don't let me interrupt. Oh, maybe it's Diane. Remember, everyone loves Diane.
Yeah, she's saying she's a real person, and someone must have questioned her on that.
Yeah, well.
She's a real lady,
We love everybody here. Johnny sent me this link the other day to this adult chat forum. Johnny was thinking about getting into it himself, and it started with people just they talk, and then it progressed from there. But
it certainly did. Yeah, I don't know if I'd be able to do those. I think it's more for women, but I mean, my target audience would be women, but I would be in my underwear playing my guitar, with my finger in my butt. So is that like a girl thing?
Next time we're on the flight, we should ask those. A lot of people saying rest in peace to Howie Pyro. And Howie Pyro of Degeneration, rest in peace. I did visit Howie's grave. I did film that right after he passed. He had a really beautiful arrangement of flowers. I believe were contributed by Linda Ramone. It looks like a vinyl record, and there was other stuff. And um, Jerry, I don't know if he's still here, but Jerry also knew Howie very well, definitely better than I did. But anyway, yeah. So you'll see his grave. It's at Hollywood Forever Cemetery, same cemetery as Johnny Ramone and Dee Dee Ramone. He has a beautiful place right out on the water. I'm actually looking for a place myself,
Oh boy.
just in case that the Moe's doesn't go well.
Yeah, a wise guy.
I'd like to be, a nice quiet place, maybe with a little bench. I would like people to stop by and, chat with me.
You're looking for a nice, quiet place. You do not want this condo.
Yes, that's probably not where I want to be laid to rest. Well, I think we're going to let. I think Dr. Paul and Diane are having a battle.
All right. Well, I have to get to. I don't know if you ate or not, but I need to eat something. I'm really hungry.
Well, what are you having? What is on the menu?
I mean, I don't normally go to In-N-Out, but for some reason, I just had a taste for it, and it's. I don't know. I mean, I've been juicing because when that fat guy.
Well, I noticed that you have a more defined musculature, and juicing obviously will do that. You can't play Major League Baseball, but I do understand the need to juice.
Well, I was told that I have a little bit of a gut, and although a fat person told me that, I still want to consider it. And I see pictures and the angles. So it's I don't work out. I need to start working out. I just don't have the energy to work out. It's probably because I don't eat. It's a vicious circle living.
Yeah, I agree. Chris makes a very good point that it is time for me to shoot up. I'm overdue. It's a very good point. Anyway, I'm making sure we get to everybody. All right, it's time to get the hell out of here. We haven't done this in 2 weeks, so I wanted to go a little longer. And let's try to do this again next week. I'm going to try to put up interviews. As I said, the tour diary. You'll see Hollywood on Monday. If you're a Patreon, you will see it. You'll see it tonight if you like, and we'll watch it again on weekend. A lot of those things come up, and then we'll see how everything goes. But we're going to try to get some content. Again, thank you so much for spending Jason Green Day with me. If you go raise $2 million in charity, I'm sure they'll give you a day as well. Back in the day when I was out on the prowl, you just carry this around with you. You see an attractive lady, and then you just kind of, and it works like a charm, So, yeah, I recommend it. Johnny, you should look into that. Steve MP, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Carla, thank you. Thank you to everybody. Look at all these kind people and all the people who contributed it as well. We'll do this. We'll have new interviews soon, and yeah, like I said, if they cut too much, and I look like the Phantom of the Opera or whatever, then Johnny will be there, and we'll have other guest hosts and things. And yes, make sure you have Jason Green Day on your calendar. All right, there's Mickey. Mickey's saying that you need to call her.
If I were to do the show, could I do it as you?
Well, sure. Your impression of me is getting better. I mean,
well, they think we're the same person. Somebody saw a video of us and they said, "There's two of them." I don't know. I think when we're in airports, they're like, "Oh, he's a lot taller than I thought, and he was with some little Italian girl."
That does happen a bit, yeah. Yeah, a lot of people will yes, they mistake us. But
And
anyway, all right, folks, everybody have a good night. And Johnny wants you all to know to drink a lot of water
oh God.
and love one another.
Oh, do what you want. Just
Life
leave me.
life is short.
How about just do what you want and leave me out of it?
Well, that's not bad, but make sure you put on a little sunscreen if you're going to be outdoors.
Okay.
And thank you to Jerry for pointing out that it's Jason Green Day every day. Much appreciated. Jerry will have to come on and talk to us. Oh no, Ben Stern died. Oh my God, Howard Stern's father died. I will tell you that Howard Stern's father was well into his 90s. But so he had a nice long run. But how sad! I could listen to Howard Stern's father and mother talk forever.
Oh,
Thank you. It's right. Hit the like button. Definitely support Johnny's music and all those things. Let's do this again. Let's reconvene. I will be live at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to show you guys the Hollywood tour diary, and then after that, let's try to do a Wednesday show. And then anyway, that's that. Thanks, Johnny.
Thanks. Thank you.
See everybody soon.